Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Real Weather Forecast. Now, today is a leap day, and this actually happens only once every 4 years, which is very interesting. And we do have a very big leap in winds and temperature across Florida. But today, I'll be talking about our March forecast for the country and for Florida, as it looks like we could see some wet conditions for the southeast and the west coast. Let's begin. So first off, we'll look at our surface fronts as of for the week, see what's going on. So as of now, where there is a cold front situated roughly by Volusia County in Florida, and this will advance toward the southeast over time. But while it does that, it will stall out toward the south by Lake Okeechobee, bringing a chance for some showers and maybe not really any storms as instability is low, but most of the shower activity will be concentrated by Volusia County and around the Cape as there's a little surface trough just offshore, bringing in from those northeast winds. Now, the front will be sagged across Florida and stay with us through the week, but toward the west, there's actually a little low pressure system developing over by Texas and Louisiana that is slowly developing along this frontal line that is stalled over us, as you can see right here in the Gulf of Mexico, and it will slowly advance its way toward the northeast, just to the north of Florida. So most of the rain associated with this will be just to the north, and we won't really see much in the way of rain. But what it does is it lifts our frontal boundary back to the north as a warm front, so I do expect temperatures to come back up more, especially toward the north into the upper 70s, maybe especially some low 80s down to the South Florida. And there will be some shower activity still going on in the same area, Volusia, Cape, maybe a little south by Vero. But overall, looking a little dry down for South Florida, as most of the rain will be to the north. Now that front boundary does move up, and then all that rain and mess moves just to the north of Florida, mostly in North Florida in the Panhandle. There is some thunderstorm activity, and then it looks like as we head into the weekend into early next week, it'll push that front back down into Florida, and of course, looks like it'll stall out once again, bringing some more widespread shower activity across Florida. Now, rain amounts, not really seeing any flash flood potential for us. Maybe down into Louisiana area as that low pressure system does get going. So could see some isolated nuisance of flooding down there as they are a very low-lying state. So any quick little 1 to 2 inches of rain could get a little flood going. And as for the northwest Pacific coast by Oregon and North California, they could see some low pressure systems moving in from the Pacific, all the little atmospheric river coming in, and like the usual pattern they've been getting there for the past couple months. Now, I'll head back to our QPF, so we'll look at the precip amounts we can expect. And over here, especially in the west coast, they're expected to see tremendous amount of snow, especially in the Sierras Mountains, as I've seen forecasts for the weekend up to 100 inches, which is a lot of snow. And that's good for their non-existent drought, as they've been getting a lot of moisture over the past month. They're persistent atmospheric rivers, and it looks like the snow is just going to keep on coming. It looks like they will start to erode away down here as the rain will slow down there, but then of course up here with that marginal risk we saw more rain from up there as they have, I think they're in more of a drought up here, so that's another reason why flash flooding is more of a chance. Now for Florida, as those that very weak front is will be situated over us right now, you can see a little bullseye of only about a quarter or a tenth of an inch, as there'll be just some on and off showers developing later today. Nothing too strong. And then there's that low pressure system trying to develop along that front around this area. Actually, it's more down here, as a warm front would be like this. But not too much of the rain of flooding wise. Now, advancing forward, you can see most of the rain activity in Florida will be mostly north of Lake Okeechobee, only picking up, an inch. Actually, not even an inch. Looks like half an inch each day. But over time, they'll add up. But it looks like some days will be more rain than the other. As looks like tomorrow, the driest, as the front starts to lift north out of Florida. So the rain will move up north of Florida as that low pressure slides through to the north, missing us. But of course, after that low pressure slides through, it'll kick this front back down south and push it back down south, and it'll stall back up here. And you can see most of the rain will be up just to the north of it. That's where most of the convergence will be uh, at. Now, looking at the totals, you can see for a week out, we have consistent tracks of low pressure just to north of Florida, and overall across the state only about an inch or two, as northern Florida looks like to be the most rain, but southwest Florida and the west coast looks like would be the driest, as that's the only part in the state that is in a drought, as most of the rain looks like to have been north and east. Now, for the March forecast, what's going to be going on beyond this week into March? Well, it looks like we'll stick in this kind of weather pattern, as we'll have roughly normal temperatures down here in the mid 70s, but a much more wetter solution, as we have a stalled front and consistent disturbances and vorticities in the up and above in the atmosphere that are producing some lots of upper level divergence and rainfall. Now here is the height anomalies. So think of this as the red and the purples is thick. The atmosphere is more thicker, so high pressure, and the blues is a lower pressure, so be much chillier and more condensed air. So what is telling me is that the northeast will experience above average temperatures, so be much warmer across this area. And over here, lots of low pressure, trophiness, so be wet and chilly over here. As that's the reason why they're having all this rain along the west coast, while there's not too much rain going on in the northeast. Now for Florida, you're kind of in, if you can see what's going on, you can see these height lines. You can see how they kind of like spread out. And that's helping with divergence up above, which is air spreading out. And when you want convection to come up, you want the air to fan out. So there is a slight look of some divergence up in the atmosphere, which is why we're seeing these little low pressure systems developing along the front. So we do have some lift going on up there, which is why there will be a little wetter down here for the time being, through the first and second week, well, the first week of March. As we head into not this weekend, but next weekend. Now it's far out, but the models are showing some lower pressures in the Midwest and deep South, so it could potentially get our start of our severe weather season get going down here, as a big ridge starts to break apart and our low pressures start to lower down in the middle of the state. So what the actual CPC says is, like I said before, we'll have much warmer temperatures above here. This is the whole month, and we'll have below temperatures down here most likely, as all the storminess and rain will keep us just at or below our temperatures. But think of this as March is when we start seeing the sun angle become more strong, so we expect the temperatures to be a little higher, as maybe like the mid upper 70s down south. So below that is, we could say 70 degrees, 75. That's still below the normal, but it's still semi-warm. So I'm not seeing any big cold outbreaks down in the south, but I am seeing storminess, cloudiness will keep our temperatures knocked down into the 70s. Now up for north, much warmer as we have big high pressure up here, and I guess in the Pacific Northwest, looks like maybe the first week of March we have that storminess. It'd be chillier for the start, but looks like toward the middle and end of March there must be lots of higher pressures building up there, causing those above the temperatures. So that's my March forecast for now, and I'll tweak it as I keep looking at models and see when we need consistent updates, and I'll let you guys know. But right now it's looking like we're still in that El Nino pattern, which we usually expect warmer temperatures up north and cooler and wetter down in the deep south. So for example, usually we have much warmer temperatures up here, and then usually much cooler temperatures down here. This is the subtropical jet, usually stays down here, having low pressure tracks along it, bringing some wetness to the southeast. And up here, usually we stay relatively warm as higher pressures are usually build up here, which is looking like the weather pattern is going to be like for a little bit this time of the month. So expect wetter conditions in the southeast and relatively at or below the normal for this time of year temperatures, and toward the southwest into the Pacific, we'll see little wetter conditions as we're still got some wetter conditions as low pressures are building and moving in from the Pacific toward the west as we have the storm tracks coming in. And temperature wise, like I said, much warmer in the northeast, but there could be still some breaks in between that will be cold. I'm not seeing anything within the next week from now. So thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll keep you guys updated and post more. Thank you.